Here's a statistic that will blow your mind. Only 0.0002% of millionaires ever become billionaires. That's 1 in 500,000. Imagine a stadium filled with 500,000 millionaires. Only one will ever cross that invisible line. But here's what's really shocking. It's not about money, connections, or even luck. It's about one fundamental difference in how they see the world. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor who controlled the wealth of an entire empire, understood something that most millionaires today completely miss. And when you discover what separates these two mindsets, you'll never think about wealth the same way again. This video is different. It's deeper. Most people think the gap between millionaires and billionaires is just more zeros in a bank account. I know because I used to be obsessed with optimizing every detail of my financial life until I realized it was holding me back. I've been there, chasing that first million, thinking that was the ultimate goal. But after studying the psychology behind both mindsets and diving deep into the philosophical frameworks that drive truly wealthy people, I discovered something unsettling. The difference isn't about having more money. It's about a complete psychological rewiring that most people never even consider. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly multiply their wealth while others plateau at a certain level, this video will give you the uncomfortable truth. We're going to explore the emotional resilience and mental frameworks that separate these two worlds. And I guarantee you'll walk away questioning everything you thought you knew about building wealth. Here's the framework that changes everything. Millionaires think in terms of optimization. Billionaires think in terms of transformation. Let me explain what I mean using ancient Stoic wisdom. Seneca, one of Rome's wealthiest citizens, was obsessed with optimizing his existing resources. He wrote extensively about managing money, controlling expenses, and maximizing returns. He was, essentially, thinking like a millionaire. But Marcus Aurelius, he thought completely differently. As an emperor, he wasn't focused on optimizing what already existed. He was focused on transforming entire systems. He understood that true wealth doesn't come from perfecting what is, but from creating what could be. This isn't just philosophy. It's the psychological foundation that separates those who accumulate wealth from those who generate it at scale. The millionaire mindset says, "How can I do this better?" The billionaire mindset asks, "How can I make this irrelevant?" One is about incremental improvement. The other is about systemic revolution. And once you understand this difference, you'll see why that gap between millions and billions is so vast. Here's the trap that keeps 99.9% of millionaires stuck. They become masters of optimization. They perfect their investment strategies, minimize their expenses, maximize their tax efficiency. They read every book, attend every seminar, optimize every decision. And it works, to a point. But here's what they miss. Optimization has a ceiling. Think about it like this. If you optimize a horse-drawn carriage perfectly, you get the fastest horse-drawn carriage in the world. But you'll never get a car. The millionaire mindset is obsessed with building the perfect carriage. They study compound interest. They diversify portfolios. They create multiple income streams. All good things. But they're still thinking within the existing system. I see this everywhere. Successful people who've built wealth by being incredibly good at playing the game as it exists. They know every rule, every strategy, every shortcut, but they never question the game itself. They're optimizing for efficiency within a framework that billionaires have already moved beyond. The psychological trap here is that optimization feels productive. It gives you measurable results. You can track your progress, celebrate your wins, feel in control. But what if I told you that this very need for control is what's keeping you trapped? What about you? Have you ever felt stuck optimizing every detail while still feeling like something's missing? Billionaires don't optimize. They transform. They don't ask, how can I get better at this? They ask, how can I make this completely unnecessary? Jeff Bezos didn't optimize bookstores. He made them irrelevant. Elon Musk didn't optimize gasoline cars. He's making them obsolete. This isn't about being disruptive for the sake of it. It's about a fundamentally different relationship with reality. Here's the Stoic principle that explains this. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the discipline of desire, not wanting things to be different than they are, but also not being attached to things staying the same. Billionaires have mastered this psychological balance. They accept current reality completely, but they're not emotionally invested in preserving it. The millionaire looks at a problem and thinks, how can I solve this more efficiently? The billionaire looks at the same problem and thinks, how can I eliminate the need for this problem to exist? One mindset is about getting better at managing complexity. The other is about creating simplicity that didn't exist before. This requires a completely different type of emotional resilience. Millionaires build resilience through control and predictability. Billionaires build resilience through comfort with uncertainty and change. They're not trying to predict the future, they're trying to create it. Look at someone like MrBeast. He didn't optimize YouTube videos. He transformed what a YouTube video could be. Same with AI companies like OpenAI. They didn't optimize existing software. They created entirely new categories of possibility. But here's where it gets really interesting, and why most people never make this mental shift. The deepest difference between these mindsets isn't about money or strategy. It's about control. Millionaires are addicted to control. They want to control their investments, their expenses, their risks, their outcomes. This need for control is exactly what helped them build their first million, but it's also what prevents them from building their first billion. Billionaires have made peace with a terrifying truth. You can't control outcomes at scale. You can only control systems and principles. When you're trying to create transformation, you're dealing with too many variables, too much complexity, too much uncertainty. The need for control becomes a liability. Here's a psychological insight that changed everything for me. The millionaire mindset is driven by scarcity fear. Even successful millionaires are still operating from, I need to protect what I have. The billionaire mindset is driven by abundance creation. They're thinking, I need to create what doesn't exist yet. This shows up in how they handle decisions. Millionaires make decisions to minimize downside. Billionaires make decisions to maximize upside. Millionaires diversify to reduce risk. Billionaires concentrate to increase impact. Millionaires think about preservation. Billionaires think about generation. The emotional toll of this shift is enormous. It means giving up the psychological safety of optimization and embracing the uncertainty of transformation. Most people never make this jump because it requires rebuilding your entire relationship with security and success. If this is resonating with you so far, hit that like button to let the algorithm know you want more deep content like this. And here's the most counterintuitive part of this whole dynamic. Here's the paradox that breaks most people's brains. Millionaires focus on money, billionaires focus on value. The more you focus on accumulating money, the less likely you are to create the kind of value that generates billions. The more you focus on creating value, the more money becomes a natural byproduct. This isn't just positive thinking nonsense. This is about how value creation works at different scales. When you're building wealth in the millions, you can focus on personal optimization, individual skill development, efficient resource management. But when you're thinking in billions, you're necessarily thinking about solving problems for millions of people. Billionaires understand something that most millionaires never grasp. Money is just a measurement of value exchange at scale. The bigger the problem you solve, the more people you impact, the more money flows naturally. But here's the catch. You can't solve billion-dollar problems with a millionaire mindset. multi-billion-dollar problems require systemic thinking, long-term vision, and the ability to coordinate complex resources across multiple dimensions. They require you to think beyond your personal optimization and start thinking about collective transformation. This is why Marcus Aurelius could manage the wealth of an empire, while Seneca, despite his wealth, remained focused on personal prosperity. The shift from "how do I get rich" to "how do I create massive value" isn't just semantic. It's a complete rewiring of your psychological operating system. And most people resist this shift because it feels like giving up control over their financial destiny. But what if I told you that the real secret isn't about choosing between these mindsets, but about understanding when to use each one? Here's what nobody talks about. You need both mindsets, but in the right sequence. The millionaire mindset builds the foundation. The billionaire mindset builds the empire. But trying to skip the foundation leads to spectacular failures, and staying stuck in foundation mode prevents exponential growth. The practical application is this: use millionaire thinking to build competence. Use billionaire thinking to build significance. Master optimization in your personal life, your skills, your initial wealth building. Get really good at the fundamentals. But once you've built that foundation, you need to consciously shift into transformation mode. This is where most people get stuck. They become so good at optimization that they can't let go of it. They keep applying millionaire strategies to billionaire problems. It's like trying to manage a corporation with the same tools you use to manage your personal budget. The tools that got you here won't get you there. The emotional challenge is learning to hold both mindsets simultaneously. You need the discipline and precision of the millionaire mindset, but the vision and boldness of the billionaire mindset. You need to be simultaneously grounded in reality and unattached to current limitations. Here's the practical test. Ask yourself this question regularly. Am I optimizing what exists, or am I creating what could exist? Both are valuable, but they serve different purposes in your wealth-building journey. The key is knowing which one you need right now and having the emotional flexibility to shift between them. Can you see areas in your life where you're stuck in optimization mode when you should be thinking transformation? So here's the uncomfortable question you need to ask yourself. Which mindset are you really operating from? And more importantly, which one does your current situation actually require? Because here's what I've learned. Most people think they're thinking like billionaires when they're actually stuck in millionaire optimization mode. Look at your current goals, your current strategies, your current decisions. Are you trying to get better at what already exists, or are you trying to create something that doesn't exist yet? Are you minimizing downside or maximizing upside? Are you protecting what you have or generating what you could have? The truth is, there's nothing wrong with the millionaire mindset. It's essential. But if you're already successful and you're feeling stuck, if you're optimizing everything but not seeing exponential growth, you might be applying the wrong mental framework to your situation. The transformation from millionaire to billionaire thinking isn't about abandoning everything you've learned. It's about expanding your psychological capacity to hold bigger possibilities. It's about developing what I call anti-fragile growth, the ability to get stronger from uncertainty rather than being weakened by it. Here's your new framework. Build like a millionaire. Think like a billionaire. Master the fundamentals, then transcend them. Because the one thing that changes everything isn't a strategy or a tactic. It's the courage to outgrow your own success. Pause for a moment. Where in your life are you optimizing, and where are you truly transforming? I want to hear from you. When you really examine your current approach to building wealth, do you recognize millionaire thinking or billionaire thinking in yourself? What's one area where you've been optimizing instead of transforming? Share your honest assessment in the comments. Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to make their own breakthrough. If this video shifted something in how you think about wealth and success, hit that like button and subscribe to keep feeding your millionaire brain. because the conversation we're having here isn't just about money, it's about the psychology of human potential. What will you choose to transform instead of optimize?